it is truly a great way to celebrate 1 month of being in the Senate with the acquittal of President Trump. That really dominated my first month, but it certainly didn't prevent me from getting up there and really working for Georgia and getting some great things done, really onboarding and ramping up that learning curve in the Senate very quickly, and have just appreciated all the support here at home and from my colleagues. So it was a fast and furious start, and it's really good to be back to work for Georgians now that we're past impeachment. Generally, how Washington is, it is broken. It is so partisan. I was, like you mentioned, I've stepped out of the private sector. In fact, 2 months ago, I was running a business, and certainly all of your listeners know that, and going about your daily lives, you have differences with people, but you still manage to get things done and move forward. What we're seeing in Washington is this just intense focus on how to stop the president and his agenda. And in spite of it, he's getting great things done. We're helping move this country forward. And the resistance to what the president's doing is shocking when you think about how his policies, the work we're doing, is lifting all Americans up. So that's pretty shocking that it doesn't have bipartisan support. We've got to find ways to come together. And not only did you hear that in the State of the Union, that the president so eloquently delivered, and I still get goosebumps when I even say that, and I think about that night and being there for the first time. Like, I've watched it for decades and from my TV, and never imagined that me, a farm kid, growing up in 4-H, living out in a rural community, feeling like I wasn't that connected to any of the kind of power centers in our country, that I could sit in that room and hear the president deliver that. But yet to see that kind of horrific reaction from Democrats, where they did not respect the president, where they didn't cheer for American success. So it is worrisome, and I take that very seriously, that I don't want to add to that kind of burning fire, but I want to find a way to work through it and to not amplify that. I have to say, I was really honored to be there and to see the president respond to what had happened, having sat in the impeachment trial for several weeks, and to have seen firsthand that the president, our duly elected president, was not afforded due process, that his rights were not respected, and that it was his time. He was never allowed counsel or representation until the very last week of a multi-week process, and then even then wasn't allowed to cross-examine or examine witnesses or evidence, and for him to have a say. And it's also a moment that says, all right, there's some issues, but we've got to move on, close this out. I appreciate, the president's kind words, and he's absolutely right. I am here fighting for him. I'm going to continue to do that. And importantly, I'm in Washington every day fighting for Georgians. In fact, during the impeachment trial, when we had breaks, I went into a little tiny phone booth in the Senate cloakroom, made calls back to Georgia, and made sure I was staying connected and not getting wrapped up in the Washington bubble.